terrible situation. How does it actually work out? What do you say to her? What do you talk about in a context like that?
Darwinism, for me, is the explanation for the way life is. But it's very much not something that we want to live by, and I would never rejoice at somebody dying because this was a Darwinian sifting out.
But you're not favouring, in other words, Hitler's eugenics
exactly.
and all that sort of thing.
It's a purely academic point that Darwinian natural selection, as a matter of fact, is why we're all here.
Yeah.
But
I understand that, and that's what I expected you to say. But then my question is, if we are the product of this universe, if we have naturally evolved in this way, then why is it that we don't feel that it's right? We feel that it's wrong. There's death and we reject it and we think it's wrong. Why is that if we are the product of this natural universe?
Yeah. If wars and all of those things...
No, this is so obvious. We are the product of natural selection. Natural selection, throughout countless generations, has favoured individuals who'd stayed alive as long as they possibly could in order to reproduce. That's what it's all about. So,
but they all died in the end.
Of course they did. But the ones that survived for longer were the ones that left behind the genes which gave rise to the next generation. We are all descended from an unbroken line of survivors.
But we all still rebel against death, no matter what age it is.
Exactly.
We all feel that there's something not right about it.
That's precisely what we should do, because those of our ancestors who wanted to die didn't leave enough children. I mean, you can't imagine inheriting the genes of somebody who wants to die because they're dead. Of course we have a...
Anyone else in the audience want to come in? Yes, someone... Well, I've heard from you before. Anyone new that I have... Yes, there's two people here. Yeah, what do you want to say? Gentleman in the short sleeve shirt, yes.
I suppose what I'd say to Richard, listening to him tonight, I find that he's a fine example of what he rails against. He rails against people of faith. Richard, he seems to consistently say, we've heard him say tonight, that we don't know what the answer is, but in the future science will give the answer. Perhaps we don't know whether it will or not. Richard seems to have great faith. He's a very fundamentalist about his science. He's a clear example of the sort of people he rails against. And as a young person coping with the complexity of life, I have to look at Richard Dawkins' book and say simply, not good enough.
Fundamentalism is belief in a holy book.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's belief in one particular thing and opposing other people and being intolerant of other people's belief. And that's what you do, Richard, consistently. You oppose other people's belief. It's got nothing to do with the holy book.
Okay, Richard,
the holy book is only one example. You have faith in your scientific methods. You have faith in the way you behave. And you criticize other people who disagree with you. And you're completely intolerant of their views.
Let's hear Richard's
language you've used against the members of the audience.
Hang on, you're not letting him reply to the question you're asking. So please, off you go. Richard.
Somebody who is a fundamentalist is incapable of changing his mind. I will change my mind the very moment somebody comes up with any evidence whatsoever that there's any God. I'm desperately waiting for evidence. There is none.
Only evidence that meets your narrow criteria.
Why are they narrow?
Because these are the criteria you've set, because you've already decided these are the parameters, because you've decided what your opinions are, and the rest of us must live by
behind that. Who wants to say something? Yes, what do you want to say?
Hi, I read Richard's book, The Savage Gene. I was about 19 years old on a beach in Greece. And I think once you understand evolution, and it's quite a simple idea, but once you understand its implications, it's like a universal acid. It just shreds through all your kind of cherished notions. And I suppose most religions are linked to kind of, the belief in an afterlife. Once you understand the implications of evolution, you see there's absolutely no chance that there's an afterlife, because replicating molecules came first. There's no way a soul could come about. But it's quite an emotive subject in terms of religion. I had arguments with my own brother. He was religious for years, and I gave him a couple of books. I gave him actually Blind Watchmaker by Richard. I gave him Cosmos by Carl Sagan. He changed. He's an atheist now, and very happy. And I think it gives me great solace in terms of, if something happens, something bad happens. If you're religious, you can say, well, what did I do? What happened, or what did I do that caused this? You don't say that. If you're an atheist, you accept that things happen for no reason.
I want to go.
And it gives people
someone
great
had
solace.
their hand up there. Yes, you wanted to say something to me. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, the religion, like without religion, we have no hope. There's so many people with hope, and they're full of the hope for religion.
All right.
And why is there so many suicides these days?
Suppose that were true, I don't for one moment agree with you, but if it were true, does that make religion true, the fact that without it we'd have no hope?
Well,
Do you think the universe owes you hope?
yeah, actually, the universe doesn't owe me any hope.
No.
For me, on a personal level, what happened for me was I was in a very down part of my own life. And religion inspired me and brought me back into life and into a new way of life.
Well, I'm delighted for you, but that doesn't
And-
make it true.
It's a miracle.
All right, Jared.
Because
Jared,
I want to come back to the question of evidence, because I think this is a key one, right? On page 72 of your book, you have the following passage down at the bottom where it says, whether we ever get to know about them or not, there are very probably alien civilizations that are superhuman to the point of being godlike in ways that exceed anything a theologian could possibly imagine. What's your evidence for that?
It's a You cannot be serious. Are you going to
Very
applaud
probable.
that?
You said very probable.
I said very probably.
What's
wrong
the
with
evidence?
that?
No, what's the evidence?
It's a perfectly reasonable speculation.
Speculation, yes. Why very probable?
Because there are billions and billions of planets in the universe, and there's no particular reason to think that this one's unique. As a matter of fact, I did also in the book discuss, I'm almost unique among scientists, as a matter of fact, in taking very, very seriously the possibility that life really is unique on this planet. And I devoted a very large chunk of chapter 4 to that fascinating speculation. Either way, it's a speculation. We are open-minded about the question of whether there's life on other planets. I don't know. You don't know.
Possible,
Nobody
yes.
knows.
all right, we're going to bring this to a close, but I have one question that fascinates me. But you have a daughter, and when she was a little girl, did you have a Santa Claus? Did you give
Yes.
gifts at Christmas and all of
Yes.
that? In other words,
Yeah.
you conspired in a way with some
Yes.
of these fantasies,
Yes.
and you've no difficulty resolving that.
It's trivial. It's a thing one does with a child because it's a nice thing to do with children. It doesn't really much matter one way or the other. I might not do it again if it happened again, but at the time it seemed a reasonable thing. I don't think it's an important issue. There are some very, very important issues that came up tonight, and I regret I didn't get a chance to explain them properly. But I do want to say that I'm most definitely not closed-minded, and I illustrated that in answer to the question about life on other planets. We do not know whether there's life on other planets. It's a fascinating question. You can put arguments this side, you can put arguments that side. Let's do it. Let's be inquiring and open to those possibilities, not have faith one way or the other.
But absolutely, and inquiry, your free inquiry is something I commend. But why should you, if the issue is open, why should your conclusion in the book be that it's very probable? That seems to suggest that the evidence comes down more heavily on one side than the other.
A phrase
Where's
like
your
very
evidence?
probable, it's a rhetorical device.
Well,
it
don't
just
use it
means,
then.
come on.
There's also a compelling statistical argument, Jared, you have to say.
Well, as it happens, there is. But
Anyway,
in
that's,
any case,
that's
I didn't
for
intend
another
it.
day.
Another
Richard
time.
and Jared, thank you very much for being with us tonight. All right. Okay, it's getting late, and it's time to call the winner of the Kia Ceed, which is worth €20,000. And earlier on, I asked the following question. In the movie The Jungle Book, what kind of animal is Baloo? Is he a monkey? Is he a tiger?